Detective Ryan Cole had worked hundreds of cases in his 10 years on the force. Missing persons, robberies, even a few murders. But nothing about this case felt ordinary. It began on a cold Thursday morning when Ryan's phone rang at 6 a.m. 3 teenage boys had gone missing near Black Ridge, a dense, abandoned forest about 20 miles outside town. The parents reported that the boys, Daniel, Mark, and Jason, had not returned home the previous night. They had gone to the woods for what they called an adventure, a teenage dare. The locals knew Black Ridge as a cursed place. For years, there had been stories about people disappearing, strange noises at night, and shadows that didn't belong. Ryan didn't believe in ghost stories, but he knew one thing: teenagers didn't just vanish without a trace. By 8 a.m., Ryan and his partner, Detective Sarah Blake, were at the scene. The parents were waiting near the forest's edge, pacing anxiously, their eyes full of panic and exhaustion. Ryan carefully took their statements. The boys had last been seen around 4 p.m. the day before. They had told their parents they would be back before dark. They didn't bring much. Just some snacks, a flashlight, and an old map they had found online. That map, according to the parents, showed an abandoned cabin deep in the woods, a place the boys wanted to explore. Ryan's gut told him time was running out. Sarah looked worried too. "I've heard things about this place," she whispered. "Locals say no one comes back from Black Ridge." Ryan shook his head. "I don't care about stories. We're going to find those boys." They suited up, grabbed flashlights, and set out into the woods. At first, the forest was quiet, almost peaceful. The trees were tall, and the path was soft beneath their feet. But as they moved deeper, the silence became heavier. The sound of their own breathing and the crunch of leaves underfoot felt unnaturally loud. After about an hour of walking, they found the first clue. It was a backpack, partially buried under a pile of leaves. Ryan carefully picked it up and opened it. Inside, there was a wallet with Daniel's school ID, a broken flashlight, and a folded map. The map was old, torn at the edges, but what caught Ryan's attention was a strange red mark on it. It seemed to indicate the location of the cabin. The boys had been heading straight for it. But there was something else. The bottom of the backpack was damp. Blood. Not a lot, but enough. Ryan and Sarah exchanged a glance. They didn't speak. They just moved faster. The trail led them deeper into Black Ridge. The trees grew denser. The light struggled to break through the thick canopy. The wind had died. The forest was perfectly still. They kept walking, and then they found something else. Another clue. This time, it was a torn piece of fabric caught on a low-hanging branch. Sarah carefully pulled it off. It looked like part of a jacket sleeve. "Same color as Mark's jacket," she said quietly. There was a dark stain on the fabric. Blood. Ryan's heart was pounding now. He was starting to feel the weight of the place, the silence pressing on his chest, the cold creeping into his skin. They pressed on. It took them another 30 minutes to reach the clearing where the cabin stood. It was old, the wood rotting, the windows broken, the door hanging off its hinges. It looked like it had been abandoned for decades. But there were footprints in the dirt. Fresh footprints. Small, like teenagers. Ryan slowly stepped inside. The smell hit him immediately. Damp wood, mold, and something else. Something sour and rotting. The living room was a mess. Broken furniture, glass shards on the floor, and strange markings on the walls. Symbols Ryan didn't recognize. In one corner, there was an old mattress, covered in dirt and what looked like dried blood. Sarah called him over. She had found something. It was a handheld video camera, dusty but still functional. Ryan turned it on. The screen flickered to life. It was footage of the boys. They were in this cabin. They were laughing, exploring, pointing the camera at each other as they joked about ghosts and monsters. They seemed happy, carefree. But then, something changed. The boys suddenly stopped laughing. One of them whispered, "Did you hear that?" Footsteps. Heavy, slow. The camera turned toward the back of the room. There, in the shadows, was a man. Pale skin, hollow eyes, wearing old, tattered clothes, just standing there, watching. The boys screamed. The camera shook violently as they ran. The screen went black. Ryan's hands tightened around the camera. He looked at Sarah. "We're not alone," he said. They searched the rest of the cabin carefully, each step heavy with tension. Upstairs, in one of the rooms, they found the boys' belongings. Backpacks, shoes, jackets, all torn and soaked. But no sign of the boys. Suddenly, a loud thump echoed from the ground floor. Ryan and Sarah raced downstairs. Through the broken door, they saw him. The pale man. He turned and sprinted into the forest. Ryan and Sarah gave chase. The man was fast, unnaturally fast. The forest twisted around them. The paths didn't seem to make sense. But Ryan pushed on, determination burning in his chest. They chased him for what felt like hours. Ryan's legs ached. His breathing was sharp and painful. But he wouldn't stop. Then suddenly, the ground disappeared beneath him. Ryan fell hard. He had landed in a pit, a well. It was cold, dark, and the smell was overwhelming. Sarah shouted from above, lowering a rope. But Ryan's flashlight swept across something that froze his blood. Bones. Dozens of bones. Skulls. Children's clothing scattered among the remains. The man had been killing for years. Ryan scrambled out of the pit with Sarah's help. "We end this. Now." They pressed on. The pale man led them to the old mill near the river. A forgotten place, half collapsed. Cornered, the man turned to Fur. His smile never left his face. He didn't run this time. Ryan tackled him to the ground. He fought back fiercely, but Ryan was stronger. With Sarah's help, they cuffed him. His name was David Langston. He had been presumed dead 20 years ago, after murdering his wife and 2 children and vanishing into Black Ridge. But he had survived. He confessed to everything. He had been living in the forest, taking children, killing them, hiding their remains where no one would find them. But there was something strange about him. David spoke calmly, almost happily, as if he believed he was part of the forest now, as if something had kept him alive. Back at the station, Ryan questioned him for hours. David told him the forest had chosen him, that it needed to be fed, that it whispered to him at night. Ryan wanted to dismiss it as madness, but the part that stayed with him was David's final words before being taken away. "You can lock me up, but I'm not the only one. The forest has many children." The boys' bodies were eventually recovered. The town was shaken to its core. The cabin was burned down a few weeks later. But reports continued. New handprints found on the stones where the cabin once stood. Whispers heard at night near the edge of Black Ridge. A pale figure seen, watching from the trees. Ryan never went back to Black Ridge, but sometimes, on quiet nights, when he can't sleep, he wonders, did they really catch the monster? Or did the forest simply let him go?